Hi, Alexander. Let's take a look at your new set of essays. I know you had some questions about commas. The one thing I can tell you is that um, nowadays there is basically a trend to reduce the number of commas we use. So there are some places where we absolutely definitely need to use them, but then there are some places where it's kind of optional, essentially. You have to understand that commas act like a speed bump in a way. It's like a visual reminder for the reader to kind of pause. And so the trend nowadays is to use just what's absolutely necessary. And then some of them we just don't use at all. So I don't want to say that there are 100% hard and fast rule. I mean, no, there are hard and fast rules, but then some of it is just kind of optional. The places where in your essays I have said, no comma here, that's just because the comma is wrong in that location. Okay. But anyway, let's see if looking at this set of essays, I can understand where, what you've done with your commas and see if they're correct or, where they're not correct and see if I can maybe explain some of those rules to you. Okay. So let's see what you wrote. The pie chart illustrates, you need an S here, how different subjects are popular in German schools in 2017. We can clearly see what does that mean, for the most popular subjects? That doesn't make sense. We can clearly see four most popular subjects. Overall, their popularity is approximately 4/5, and three least popular disciplines with a total popularity of about 20%. So you're missing some structural words here to make it grammatically correct. I can't say that this was it didn't really 100% make sense. When we use the superlative, the most popular, we, for the purposes of IELTS at least, I would have preferred that you didn't say there were four most popular. Because the superlative implies that there's one most popular, right? Now, this is really like the strict definition of how to use a superlative like this. So, three you could have said four more popular subjects and three less popular. That would have made sense. Okay. In any case, let's move on. All right, so I don't know why you keep saying four the most popular subjects. That's incorrect. So the four most popular subjects can be separated into two groups. There's something happening with your grammar here. It's not appropriate syntax here in English. What did you write? You said for the most popular subjects we can separate for, no, that's not appropriate English here. So to say what I think you're trying to say is the four most popular subjects can be separated into two groups. PE and history is the first group. Their popularity is 22.9 and 22.4 respectively, which, not what, which is almost a half of all students, not the whole, all students. The second group includes maths and physics. These similar disciplines have almost the same level of popularity. Roughly 1/5 of pupils like maths, 19.5, which, stop using what, which is 1.4% more than physics, which has 18.1% popularity. All right, good. Geography, biology, and IT are the least popular disciplines, plural. A small minority of students like biology and geography. Their popularity is 7.1 and 6.4 respectively. A very small number. Don't talk about numbers because we're not talking about numbers here at all. This could be millions of students. Talk about percentages. If you don't want to use if you don't want to use the word percentage, you could say proportion or figure. Okay, so a very small proportion of pupils prefer IT. I would have preferred an and here. And that is the smallest figure among all the subjects in this pie chart. Okay, so I thought you did an okay job of the way you separated this. I thought you highlighted some of the correct features. I like the way you extended I like the way you extended your arguments. I think you did a good job with this. For me, the weak area in this task 1 is with the grammar. You had a few areas that were rather awkward. It kind of bordered on incoherent, so we really want you to be careful about that, okay? I didn't see any problems with commas here, which is why I didn't talk about them at all. I thought you did okay. So it's a good answer, but you need to be careful here with the grammar because that's, like I said, that's the weak area in this task. So let's go on to your task 2 and see what you said here. This is about online communication versus face-to-face communication. So let's see what you said. Experts throughout the developing and developed world have debated how online communication is effective for daily meetings. They have debated how it is effective. Okay, I don't totally understand that, but for the time being, let's just move on and see if we have to change it. Some believe that there are more disadvantages than advantages. Personally, I strongly believe here. See, here you don't need a comma. There's absolutely, we don't pause here. Okay, so you definitely don't need a comma here. It should just be personally, as you could have said, personally, comma. So this is how we would read it. Personally, I strongly believe that meetings via internet have more advantages than disadvantages. Okay, so this is how we would pause in speech, and so this is what the purpose of the comma is, to kind of show us where to pause. So you wouldn't pause after believe, but you would pause after personally. I also think that it's a good idea if you're going to disagree to say yet, however, because when you do have kind of an opposing statement in one sentence, it's a good idea to kind of highlight that with some sort of linking device which shows contrast. Okay? Or even just an and here, because it looks like to me, let me see, I think you, okay, no, you do disagree. You disagree, and so I think a yet or a however would have been good here. So let's see what that would have sounded like. Some believe that there are more disadvantages than advantages. Yet, personally, I strongly believe that meetings via the internet have more advantages than disadvantages. All right, now that's okay. It's better, but I can't really say that I love the fact that you have disadvantages and advantages, advantages and disadvantages in the same sentence. So this was a nice opportunity for you to maybe use a synonym, maybe, use some ellipsis. Ellipsis is when you kind of like take out words or let me show you what you could have done here. And this is going to sound really nice. Take a look at this. Some believe that there are more disadvantages than advantages, yet personally, I strongly believe the contrary, or I believe the opposite. Okay, and then you don't have to go into all of this. Okay, or you could have just said, personally, I strongly disagree. Okay, and that's fine. And then you don't have to be so, repetitive like this. Okay, so this essay will discuss both sides using examples from recent, no. What happened here? From recent, the government, no. So, from recent Russian government research to demonstrate points and prove arguments. That's fine. Now, let's go back to that first sentence, which I said I wanted to kind of pause and think about. Let me try rephrasing this so it's a little more accurate, okay? Okay. Experts throughout the developing and developed world have debated how effective online communication is for daily meetings. Now, that brings a different meaning, and then it fits a little better with what you're actually trying to say, okay? So that's all I really want to change around there. Now let's move on. On the one hand, there is ample evidence that sometimes people cannot attend a face-to-face meeting. There could be any reason, such as an unpredicted business trip or a sudden accident. It must not be forgotten that these days the pandemic of coronavirus, that's usually one word, forces us to follow social distancing. Get rid of your A. Moreover, digital features allow us to save recordings with an S of online meetings, again with an S, that could be really useful for the working process. For example, if somebody misses important information, he will be able to check it by watching the video. Also, the video could be sent to other colleagues who did not attend the meeting. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that online communication is a great opportunity to make workflow more efficient. Okay. Now, I think here, I liked this, but I don't think this is really how you want it to start. I think you needed a more generic topic sentence here because you really just went into this. There's ample evidence that people can't attend an online meeting. No, that's not what there's ample evidence about. There's ample evidence that online meetings provide many, many advantages. Okay? That's what this sentence should really say, because that's what this paragraph is about. It's about the advantages of online meetings. So saying here this is not correct. Then what you can do is you can say, for example, they are a wonderful alternative when people cannot attend a face-to-face meeting. And there could be many reasons for this, such as an unpredicted business trip or a sudden accident. Okay, so that's a really much more appropriately developed paragraph where you have a nice generic topic sentence in the beginning of your paragraph showing us what the paragraph is about, the advantages of online meetings. All right, and then you kind of you develop your paragraph more smoothly. Okay. I want you to be careful with a lot of these articles. I saw a ton of mistakes with articles, you know, the a's, the ands, the thes. So I definitely want you to revise some advanced rules about these so that you can kind of overcome some of these little obstacles. All right, let's move on. On the other hand, there are some disadvantages using online communication. I wanted an of here, disadvantages, or there are some disadvantages to using online communication works as well. The first one is dependent. You see, now here you did exactly what I wanted. You said, look, I'm going to talk about the disadvantages here. Okay, and that's what you want to do. So it's clear to the reader that this is what the paragraph is about. So that's what you needed to do here, as I already said. Okay, the first one is dependent on a good internet connection. If a person does not have stable and fast internet, he will not be able to attend an online meeting. Now here you can't use doesn't. We don't use contractions in task 2 ever. It's informal, so you absolutely have to write the word out. It is a crucial point because an extensive study by the Russian government showed that only 20% of Russian Federation has the proper internet connection. In addition, for some groups, and you need an S here, of people, online communication is not comfortable. Now here you could have put a comma, but you didn't need to. It's one of those optional commas that I already mentioned to you. For some group of people, comma, internet communication or online communication is not comfortable. All right, and I don't know if that's really, what does that mean? It's not comfortable. It's something awkward. It's something that they are not comfortable with. So it's not the online communication, but the people themselves don't feel comfortable with it. So usually it is the older generation where there are a lot of conservative people. All right, now careful with this. I don't really think that you're saying what you want to say. So you're saying that people aren't comfortable with online communication because they're older and conservative. That's a really, a very kind of simplified overgeneralization here. I think what you really want to say here is that some people who are not tech savvy, often people from the older generations, for example, have a difficult time navigating the world of online meetings. Okay? So you kind of temper this with sometimes, occasionally, they have a tendency to, so you don't make it such a generalization. Given the examples and arguments above, I firmly believe that online communication gives a lot of advantages to organize meetings more efficiently. Now here you definitely don't want a comma because although needs to be followed by a clause, and then at the end of the clause you put a comma. We never put a comma just after although. So although there are some problems using the internet to provide online communication, good, I support the idea that the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. Okay, fine. So I think we talked quite a bit about the grammar. I thought your development was fine. I thought you did a nice job, but there were those other little issues that I want you to work on, like the articles, which we saw consistently were a problem, and then some little grammatical things as well. I also want to suggest you thinking about maybe reversing the paragraphs. You put your strongest paragraph first and your weaker paragraph second, because this isn't the paragraph that you support. And a lot of IELTS tutors suggest doing the opposite. So you put your weak argument first, which is the one that you don't support, and then you put the one that you do support. Because it acts like an anchor, and it's the thing that remains in the mind of the reader. So this is a suggestion that you might want to think about. All right, so go ahead, Alexander, and correct these. Send us another set of essays. Let me know if I answered your question about commas, and if you have any others, just let me know, okay? Good luck.